untouchable, or at least that's what it sounded like. Now the same voice that once mocked is rumored to be asking for mercy. Because the man he chose to provoke, 50 Cent, isn't responding with words. He's reportedly building something far more dangerous, a documentary that could fracture the entire Harris legacy. And if even a fraction of what's being whispered is real, this doesn't end well for King Harris, because regret hits different when it's too late. So what changed? What pushed everything from noise into something irreversible? In early March 2026, quiet conversations, music started turning into loud rumors that 50 Cent was developing a project, allegedly titled Surviving T and Tiny, a title that alone felt like a warning shot. But before that storm even formed, K. Harris was already deep in the fire. He wasn't just involved, he was leading the charge. Videos, diss tracks, merch, even a cannabis product. Every move aimed directly at 50 Cent, and none of it was subtle. It was bold, aggressive, and dangerously personal to understand why everything spiraled. You have to look at what King Harris actually said, because this wasn't typical rap beef energy. This crossed into territory most artists don't dare touch. Your mama dead, dig that up. That moment, that line, changed everything. It came after 50 Cent posted a disrespectful image of Tiny Harris. But instead of just clapping back, King Harris went somewhere darker. He targeted Sabrina Jackson, 50 Cent's late mother, a woman who died when he was just a child. And once that line was crossed, there was no coming back. Crowned as music, the self-declared king of the South, T.I. stood opposite a force from Queens, and both men weren't just successful. They were dominant. Millions sold. Loyal fan bases locked in. But this wasn't just about music. It was deeper. The tension between New York and the South wasn't only cultural, it was built into the system itself. Charts, radio spins, awards, everything quietly fueled a rivalry that never needed to be spoken to be understood for years. The friction between 50 Cent and T.I. stayed hidden beneath the surface. No direct shots. No explosive moments. Just two giants moving in the same space, either respecting each other or choosing silence over war. Until everything shifted. Around 2020, during a world locked inside a pandemic, the Versus battles emerged, created by Swizz Beatz and Timbaland, turning legends into head-to-head spectacles. And T.I. saw an opportunity. He didn't just suggest a battle with 50 Cent, he pushed for it relentlessly. He brought up history. The infamous 2007 clash between Curtis and Graduation, a moment where 50 Cent took a public loss. To T.I., this wasn't just nostalgia, it was proof. He had the records, the impact, the legacy. He made his argument everywhere. Interviews, podcasts, Instagram lives, building a narrative that the culture needed this face-off. But 50 Cent never stepped in. Again and again. He declined calmly, publicly, almost dismissively. He made it clear he had moved on, pointing to his television empire, especially the Power franchise. He framed himself as operating on an entirely different level. Battles. That was beneath him. And that's where it got personal. Because it wasn't just a refusal. It felt like disrespect. Like T.I. wasn't even worthy of the stage. For someone who spent decades building his name as Southern royalty, it hit deeper than any diss track, though the tension lingered. Small jabs. Occasional exchanges. Nothing explosive, just enough to keep the energy alive until February 2026. That's when everything broke. What started as tension between two men didn't stay contained. It evolved into something bigger, something that pulled an entire family into the spotlight and unfolded across every corner of social media at once. King Harris, born August 25, 2004, wasn't new to attention. He grew up with cameras watching his every move, peering on T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle, a reality series that exposed the inner workings of the Harris household to the world. By the time the conflict with 50 Cent escalated, King Harris was 21, old enough to act independently, but still young enough to act without thinking through the consequences. And that mattered, because his reputation had already been built on being outspoken. Viewers had seen it before, arguments, tension, moments where he spoke freely, regardless of who it was directed at. So when the spark came, it wasn't unexpected. It was inevitable. That spark, a single post. When 50 Cent uploaded an unflattering image of Tiny Harris, it crossed an invisible boundary. This wasn't music anymore. This was personal. Targeting someone's wife in front of millions shifted everything from competition, coming into something closer to war. And the Harris family responded immediately. King Harris and his brother Damani stepped forward. But where Damani showed control, King Harris moved with emotion, fast, aggressive, and without hesitation. His response video, aimed directly at 50 Cent's late mother, spread like wildfire. The words were harsh. Music, the message was deliberate. And the internet reacted instantly. For a moment, it worked. It got attention. But not the kind you recover from. Because instead of gaining respect, King Harris became a target. And without realizing it, it wasn't just responding anymore. He was escalating something far bigger than himself. Then strike back with something the other side can't compete with. And this time, the response wasn't going to be a diss track or a social media jab. It was something far more calculated, a documentary. Not content built for a quick headline, but something designed to rewrite the entire narrative, permanently. And what was coming next was far more dangerous than anything the Harris family had prepared. For because this wasn't just retaliation, this was 50 Cent's nuclear option. If diss tracks are bullets, then a documentary is an airstrike. And 50 Cent music, someone who has already proven how powerful a well-timed expose can be, made it clear in early March 2026 music that he was preparing something major. Rumors started spreading, a project reportedly titled Surviving T.I. and Tiny. Even the name felt intentional. It echoed Surviving R. Kelly. A series that didn't just tell a story, it reshaped public perception and changed the trajectory of a career forever. By choosing that title, 50 Cent wasn't just teasing content, he was sending a message before anything had even been released. This wasn't about rap anymore. This was about exposure. And then he added fuel to the fire himself, posting and later deleting a screenshot tied to the documentary, alongside a caption that read, like a warning. Remember how quiet I got before the documentary? I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're going to ask about those cases. With that, the direction became clear. Because the focus wasn't random, it pointed directly toward the ALLEGA that had surrounded T.I. and Tiny for years. Claims that, regardless of legal outcomes, carried weight in the public eye. And 50 Cent understood something critical. He didn't need a conviction. He just needed a story. A documentary like this wouldn't just create headlines, it would reach into every corner of King Harris' career at the exact moment he was trying to stand on his own as an independent artist. And the irony? It cuts deep. Everything King Harris did, the videos, the merch, the diss tracks, came from a place of loyalty, a desire to defend his family's name. But those same moves quietly became evidence. Every clip of him disrespecting 50 Cent's mother could now be repurposed, reframed, and presented as something much bigger. Every lyric, every post turned into ammunition. Without realizing it, King Harris may have helped build the very narrative that could be used against them. Behind the scenes, reports suggested that T.I. was shaken music by what early leaks hinted at. And online, the story started shifting. Gossip platforms painted King Harris as someone who stepped into a fight far beyond his control and was now searching for a way out. Whether he actually reached out to 50 Cent remains unclear, but the possibility alone speaks volumes. Because this wasn't just another rap beef anymore. This was something heavier. The fallout is already visible. King Harris, once loud and everywhere, has gone noticeably quiet. The constant stream of diss tracks slowed. The merch, the branding, it all faded. Whether that silence came from pressure, advice, or realization, only his inner circle knows. Meanwhile, T.I. hasn't backed down. He responded with confidence, even challenging 50 Cent to face him in any format, even doc for doc. But confidence and control aren't the same thing, because while T.I. has survived controversy before, this situation operates on a different level. What a seasoned artist can manage, a 21-year-old might not. Just weeks ago, King Harris sounded fearless, certain that his name carried enough weight to handle anything. But this isn't about music anymore. A diss track fades. A documentary stays. It spreads. It sticks. It reshapes perception for years. And King Harris wasn't stepping into a battle. He walked into a media war against someone who builds empires out of moments like this. And in that kind of war, volume doesn't win, power does. Or does. That was King Harris just weeks ago. Loud, reckless, untouchable, or at least that's what it sounded like. Now the same voice that once mocked is rumored to be asking for mercy. Because the man he chose to provoke, 50 Cent, isn't responding with words. He's reportedly building something far more dangerous. A documentary that could fracture the entire Harris legacy. And if even a fraction of what's being whispered is real, this doesn't end well for King Harris. Because regret hits different when it's too late. So what changed? What pushed everything from noise into something irreversible? In early March 2026, quiet conversations, music started turning into loud rumors that 50 Cent